Hey everybody, I'm David on Earth. Thanks for visiting the channel. Today, I want to talk about these hot hands, these hand warmers. It doesn't have to be hot hands, it can be any brand, but um, I've heard that you can reuse these things. So I'm going to do a little experiment today, so stick around. Let's check it out. So let's start off with a little experiment. Then we'll get into what these are made of and how they work so we can better understand the results of the experiment. So, experiment. Let's go ahead and take it out of the little package, and it should start getting warm as soon as it hits the air. There we go. So it takes a minute, 30 seconds or so for it to start getting warm. These last, let's see, a number of hours. These last up to 10 hours. They'll stay warm. You can put them in your gloves. You can, whatever, put them in your pocket to keep your hands warm in your pocket, whatever you want to do. Sometimes I'll put these in my shoe in the morning to get them warm before I stick my feet in them. There's all kinds of uses for these things, but normally after you're done using them, they're just trash. You just throw these away and it just produces a lot of trash. Okay, so the first test I want to run is that this has been out a little while. It's still warm, but say I don't want to use it anymore. I don't need it anymore, so I want to try to use it later. So the theory is you can put it back into a bag, make it airtight as possible, and it will reactivate later on. So let's put it in a small bag. I'll try to pump as much air out of this thing as I can here. Roll it up maybe. There we go, nice and tight. There we go. Now, I see that? Yeah. Now it's kind of airtight, so I'm gonna let it sit in here, see if it cools off. All right, so 10 minutes later now, it's cooling off. It's almost as cool as it was when I first took it out. I'm gonna take it out again to see if it warms up again. Starting to heat up again. It's like it's magic.
Excellent.
The next part of my experiment is to let this thing completely, let's see, it's got to be 10 hours. I'm going to let it go for 10 hours. Maybe even a little bit more than 10 hours until it's cooled off and it's not producing any heat anymore. And then I'm going to see if I can reactivate it the same way I did when it was only partially done with the 10 hours. So, I don't know. Okay, so it's been about 13 hours since I've had this out, and it's cold as ice. It's not warm at all. These are 10-hour hand warmers. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to put it in here like we did previously when it wasn't burned out yet. So it's been well beyond 10 hours. So let's just see if we can revive this thing by packing this in a airtight container to see if it will reheat again later. Okay, here we are the next day. Our little hand warmer in a pouch. Let's open it up and see what we got here. Okay, so this is just a little bit warm. I mean, I can feel a little bit of heat coming off of here, but not what it was previously. All right, so it's been about an hour of it being out of the bag again. And it's no longer producing heat. It was producing a little bit of heat about a minute or so after I took it out of the bag. And about an hour later now, it's not producing any heat at all. So there you go. That is the experiment to see how these things actually work. Are they reusable? Let's review. So the two things that we learned in our little experiment here is that these things can be reused if they were exposed to oxygen for a short period of time, less than the advertised duration time, and then sealed in a plastic bag, and then later reopened. They do heat back up again for at least the duration that's advertised on the package. Now, the second thing that we learned is that if we sealed them up again after it had gone cold and after it was heating for the duration that is advertised on the package, and we sealed it up again in a plastic bag and then reopened it later, It got a little bit warm for a very short period of time, an hour or less, before it went cold again. So that's what we know about these. To answer the question, are they reusable? Yes, kinda, under certain circumstances and time of use. And then they become disposable because they don't seem to do anything for us anymore. So what is going on here? How do these work? So if we understand exactly what these are made of and how they produce heat, maybe we can get the most out of them, like maybe spend less money or produce less trash. And so here's what I've learned about these things. So the content of these packs are a specific combination of iron powder, salt, vermiculite, and activated charcoal. So heat is produced when these ingredients are exposed to oxygen. The oxygen creates a reaction called oxidation. This is what makes iron rust and produces iron oxide. Oxidation is an exothermic reaction, meaning it produces heat. Since iron rusts relatively slow, it produces very little heat. You can't really feel it. So if you want to feel heat from iron oxidizing, you need to find a way to speed up the process. Well, to do this, there's a careful balance of those ingredients, salt and charcoal and vermiculite. When the iron powder is completely rusted, the hand warmer will no longer produce heat because it can no longer oxidize anymore. So in our experiment, we exposed the iron and other ingredients to oxygen. It heated up through this exothermic reaction. We then sealed it, starving it of oxygen, stopping the exothermic reaction. And at this point, the iron powder had not yet completely rusted. So then we reopened it, exposing it to air oxygen again, restarting the exothermic reaction. When it was no longer producing heat, the iron powder had completely rusted, therefore exhausting the lifespan of the product. Boing. Phew. Also note that the packaging on these commercial products are made of a polymer material specifically designed to minimize the oxygen exposure to this package inside. The plastic bag we used in our experiment is far less effective than the commercial packaging that it comes in. So you shouldn't expect it to have a very long shelf life sealed in these plastic bags, as opposed to what these commercial packaging is. The commercial packaging will last about 5 years. In these plastic bags that we used, it'll be a lot less because it's less effective and it's not really designed to completely keep oxygen away from the contents. So in this video, I hope it made sense about what these are, how they work, so that you can best use them and determine maybe how many you should take with you when you go out there on the trail, and what you could do if you possibly wanted to reuse them. Once again, I'm David on Earth. I do a lot of hiking and backpacking, and I love being outside and doing outside things. If you like that, maybe you should subscribe so you can get more of this content. If it was helpful, I'd appreciate a thumbs up. And so, as always, go live like you want it. I'll see you on the trail. Hey, this is David on Earth. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below. And go to the website for some deals on gear. All right, see you on the trail.
Very good.